Hello, my name is Summer Janae, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk to you about the opportunity I had to go to the Colorado BYU game in San Antonio, Texas, and all the hiccups we had to get to that game, but we got to the game and then um, got to enjoy the game. So, let me start off with I'm a planner, and so we really planned as much as we could. It was like kind of short notice that this is where who they're playing and this is where they're going to play. But when we got that information, we started planning. Well, first we are like, "Oh, are we going to go or are we not going to go?" And my husband's like, "I don't know. You and that knee. I don't know if you can handle that." And I was like, "Oh no, I can handle it. I got it." And um, so some of the things we planned or put in place to keep me and my knee in a good place and from, I guess, overworking my knee, if you will, was the first thing we did was we booked, after we got our tickets, we looked at the lodging to see where could we go that would put us in a close vicinity, logistically in terms of um, being in the vicinity of the um, Alamo Bowl. And so we booked a hotel that was on the Riverwalk where we could use points. And like the out of pocket cost for it was like minimum, I want to say less than $100. That was number one. But to get to the Alamo Bowl, like the airfare was ridiculous. But so we had a certificate we wanted to use, and we couldn't use it the 26th or the 27th, and the game was on the 28th. And so we were like, okay, well, if we're gonna go on the 28th, and because my whole thing was how do we get there, get have some good accommodations and do it for the least amount of money. At that time it was to cash in that airline certificate. And so we had to pay for one ticket and the other ticket was $99. So we did that, but in order to use that certificate for the companion ticket, then we had to fly on the 28th. So our plan was we were going to fly out of Nashville on the 28th at 6:30, 6:28 in the morning. We would get to San Antonio right around 11, which was we're on schedule, everything's good to go. We were going to go catch an Uber from the airport in San Antonio to our hotel. We paid an extra $25 for our hotel room, still under $100, to check in early so that we could check in. But I think it was like between 10 and 12. We were going to drop our bags and then kind of get a lay of the land and then try to go to the tailgate area because this time we paid for a VIP package and we were just going to have food was already taken care of. Everything was going to be good to go. And we were like, yeah. So we got to the hotel that was next to the airport on the airport proper. Um, and we spent the night there. We didn't have to go for food. We ordered some food to come to the room. So we're working the plan to keep me off my leg and logistically have everything good to go. We made sure we went to bed early the night before. We said, okay, we're gonna get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and we're going to leave out of the hotel room at 4, even though we only had to walk across the little catwalk or the jet bridge to get to the airport. We did all of that only to get a message at 3:48, 12 minutes before we're scheduled to leave the hotel to go and check our bags and do all of that stuff, that our flight was canceled.
Hey guys, not talking so loud. We're in a hotel, but we're headed to guess where for the game. It's almost 4 o'clock, and we're supposed to fly at 6:30, and we just got a notification that our flight was canceled. So stay tuned, and I'll let you know if we actually make it to the game. But let's go, Bobs.
And so we're thinking, okay, well, we're like, we need to keep pressing, go over and to the ticket counter to find out if they can like get us on another flight that's leaving out. They have several flights that are leaving out, so to see if they can get us on another flight to be able to get to San Antonio still in time. And we get to the ticket counter, and the lady was like, "The earliest flight we have is 7. I think it was like 7:39 p.m. The game started at 6:30, and all I could see was ching, 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 all this money flying out of the window because us leaving at 7:29 would mean we would miss the game, we would miss the tailgate, we would miss everything. And that was the whole purpose of us going to San Antonio, was to see the game. So we had a decision to make. Were we going to forfeit all the money that we had in place and not go to the game? Or were we going to try to catch a flight and get there and just figure it out? And so we went with option B and figured it out. We went to a ticket counter of an airline where we knew that I had experienced good service in terms of my wheelchair. And we went over there and they were like, did you check all the flights? And so we proceeded to step back, check all the flights, and we were able to get a flight on another carrier who had a flight leaving out at 7:20 something or 7:40 something, but it's like an hour or so, within an hour of when we were supposed to leave out. But the kicker was, instead of it going to San Antonio, we ended up flying to Austin. So when we got to Austin, we had to rent a car, drive the car from Austin to San Antonio. And then once we got to San Antonio, we had to park the car. Um, so if for those of you who are out there adding it up, yes, it's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So my whole plan of doing this on a budget, and we were under this cost constraint, like all of that went out the window. But I can say that we ended up getting on a flight on Delta Airlines. The only hiccup we had there was we were walking from one ticket counter to the next, booking the flight. And although I booked and said for today, which was that day, the 28th, I was booking in the app. And once I finished and got to the counter, I was like, okay, we're ready. They were like, ma'am, your flight is a month from now. I was like, wait a minute, I just literally booked it and it said for today. And so that was a hiccup there. And then, so then we had to pay a flight change fee for um, the, we had like we made a change to the flight. And so the person at the counter was like, well, you can step over and call customer service and see if they'll waive the fee for you. And I'm looking at my watch going, we still got to clear TSA. I was like, can I call them when I get on the other end, or once everything settles down? Like, we're really trying to catch this flight. And so we went ahead and went through TSA. We went and made it to the gate. We were able to get on the flight. We had some really good seats on the flight. But when I tell you that flight, the turbulence on that flight, oh my God. Um, it got so bad that they had to stop service in the cabin, but the crew was amazing. The flight attendants, the pilots, everything, like they did what they could given the situation. And like, yeah, I think I will fly them more often. Like they were just phenomenal. um, so we get to San Antonio, we need to get a car. And usually I am, especially with what's going on with my knee, I'm like, we need to get a car that's sitting up higher, and we need to make sure that I can get in and out. At that point, at that stage of the game, I was like, just get a car that's gonna get us safely there. And we're only going to be in it for a couple of hours because, based on the location of where our hotel was, we didn't need a car other than to just go to the game, and we weren't going to pay for parking at the game. So we parked the car at the hotel and didn't pull it back out until we had to take it back to the airport the next day. But so once we got to Austin, we picked up the car in Austin, we drove it, and we had to pay a little extra because it was a one-way drop off. But we dropped that car off. We picked it up in Austin, drove it to San Antonio, drove it to the hotel. We got parked. So all in all, I think we were like an hour and a half, 2 hours off the time we were originally supposed to get there. But then when we arrived, we ordered our Uber. We got to the hotel, did a woosah for like a couple minutes, and then we were headed to our tailgate party, or what we thought was our tailgate party. So we Ubered over to the game, and that Uber was like $20, if that. I want to say it was less than that based on the time we went. And we found our tailgate area, and that was to me a major letdown. Like I was not expecting what we had when we got there. Like, so I'm gonna do another video just on that whole fiasco, but um, we're still fighting on that one, but that's another video for another day. But I wanted to let you know that we got there to the Alamo Dome. The Alamo Dome um, parking area, tailgate area is huge. The area where you go in for tickets is um, the stairs on that area where we were huge. And so once they like let you through the area where they screen you to make sure you don't have weapons or anything like metal detectors, then we had to go upstairs and wait in another line in order to be able to get in. And we were able to pick up a program, and maybe I'll show you the program. I'll show you the program when I do the video on like the tailgate and stuff, because that's a whole bunch of drama. But the Boy Scouts were selling the programs for like $10, and it was like a over covering both teams and the coaches and things of that nature. So it was a really cool souvenir. I don't think, yeah, I was trying to think if I was going to do a full fledged video on, yeah, that hot mess was such a hot mess. I am gonna do another video on that. So let me keep going. So we get into the dome, to the Alamo Dome, and it was laid out really nicely. They had we had club seats. It was okay for club seats. The reason I'm saying it was okay is because it wasn't the club seats that I thought we were getting, which will go into that other video, because what we paid for and what we got were two different things, and we're still disputing that. But there were several other people who had the same concerns we had, um, and but the staff at the Alamo Dome was amazing. There was a lady there. Her name is Becky. Shout out to Miss Becky. But Miss Becky followed up with me. Miss Becky was like, "I'm so sorry. This is where you need to call. This is what I found out. This is I did a little digging." And she's like, "I don't want you to have to get back up. So I'm just gonna come to you. Tell me where you are, and I'll come find you." Miss Becky, hands down, her customer service was top notch. Valero Stadium or the Alamo Dome. It was shout out to Miss Becky and her team. So we watched the game. The game was good until we started losing, and I mean losing bad. But I was rolling with the Buffs. I didn't get up and leave. We stayed until the end of the game. We left the game. We had to take the catwalk to get to the Uber section to get back to our hotel after the game. So that was a challenge. So those of you, my mobilely challenged brothers and sisters, you might want to think about that if you don't have like one of those scooter things to, and you're like on your cane like I was, then yeah, you might want to reconsider that. Other than that, the game itself was good. There was a mix of fans from both sides where we were sitting. We had a good time in terms of rooting for our respective teams. Again, until that score got out of hand, we were having a good time. But getting back home, there were some challenges with the airfare because, for whatever reason, even though I reached out to the airline several times to tell them, "Hey, I'm not getting on that 7:39 flight. I am already sitting here in San Antonio." They kept sending me notifications saying, "Hey, it's time to check in for your flight," and I was even chatting at the game with their customer service, going, "Hey guys, I need you guys to understand I'm not getting on that flight. I'm already sitting in San Antonio." And then lo and behold, I'm so glad we didn't opt for that flight because that flight ended up being delayed and it didn't leave until nine something. It was just a hot mess. From a logistical perspective, getting to the game, it was a hot mess, but we figured that thing out and we got there and we got there on time. And so, the start of this video, I'm going to cut in the video I made from the hotel room, letting you guys know right before we left the room that they canceled our flight. I'm going to put that on top of this video so you guys can see what happened. And I'll probably try to drop some footage of some stuff that happened in between so that you can see what was going on at the game. But yeah, I think in the future, if I'm placed in the situation and I had the opportunity to go a day ahead of time instead of trying to save money and use that airline pass in the window, the blackout, around the blackout time that they gave. I think in the future I would just end up, number one, going with a totally different carrier than the one that we were originally booked with, because that created some um, undue stress, if you will, that didn't have to be. Like the customer service people at the desk, the agents at the desk weren't even trying to hear anything about, well, I had these tickets and can you please help me? And they weren't trying to help you find another flight. The earliest flight they put had us scheduled on was more than 12 hours after we were scheduled to leave, and it ended up leaving more than 14 hours after we were scheduled to leave. So just the inconvenience of it all. The Yeah, I'm like reevaluating like my loyalty to a particular airline, and that whole just I that left a really bad taste in my mouth with the things we had to do to get to the other end. But after the game, we had a good time uh, seeing the city. We went to return the car and came back and went to a really popular restaurant in the area that the people sitting to our right was telling us about to go to after the game, but we just couldn't get there in time. But the food was phenomenal in San Antonio. I look forward to going back and spending more time in San Antonio. I had a really good time. When I say the food was amazing, everything we ate in San Antonio was great. Um, yeah, San Antonio, you guys did it up. Really liked it there. And that's all I think I want to share in this video about the CU game. But I just wanted to let you know that we did make it to the game finally, and we were able to see the game, enjoyed most of the game, and we were able to root for our team, and we're able to see Coach Prime and Shiloh and Shador and Travis play their last game together, and we had some buffs that just um, Shiloh really showed up that game. So I just was grateful and thankful for the opportunity to be able to make it to that game, despite the planes. Do we have to take a train? We took a train to get back. Despite the planes, trains, and automobiles we had to take to get to the game and get back from the game, Um, we had a good time. And when I tell you I was exhausted by the time we got home, oh my gosh, that was an understatement. Like we came back on that Monday and I had work on Tuesday, and I was just, and I'm still like, I think I'm still getting myself together because I had work today too. But even though it's been over a week, I'm finding that it's taking a lot more out of me to do like normal walking tasks, if you will. And so I was just grateful for the opportunity to physically be able to go to the game. But I think my trips for now are over until I can get my surgery done and get cleared by the doctor to travel more. But I just wanted to kind of close the loop with you all on the video for what actually happened and how did we get to that Colorado game. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the journey. It's been a fun one. Thank you very much for tuning into my channel. Have an amazing rest of your day and go be great.